It was here in the Dawson Lounge that Lawrence Downey spent much of his time before he boarded his flight into the history books. It was at this very bar that the regular sat, sipping a drink and contemplating the task at hand. It seems apt that here in the smallest pub in Ireland, the strangest man with the biggest personality plotted a tiny mission with the greatest of ambitions. It was in 1981 that this Australian-born former merchant navy sailor and Trappist monk left this bar, stepped into the mild May afternoon and hailed a taxi. Hours later, on the approach to Heathrow Airport, he would emerge from the toilet of Aer Lingus flight EI-164, dripping in petrol, with an old hot water bottle slung over his shoulder and an unreliable lighter gripped in his shaking hands. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We're about to begin our approach into London Heathrow. We've been lucky with the tailwinds today and we should be touching down 20 minutes ahead of schedule. I hope you enjoy your stay here in London. Thank you. Shit, he thought. How can we be landing already? Lawrence Downey wasn't ready yet. He had planned this down to the tiniest detail, but one thing he didn't consider was the possibility that the bloody plane could arrive early. He rose rapidly from his seat, but was yanked back down just as quickly. It was as if the chair didn't want him to go ahead with this. It wanted to talk some sense into him. Bloody seatbelt. He fumbled and pulled at the cumbersome metal buckle, but the change in his plans had replaced his confidence and calm with nervous haste and sweaty palms. Sir, the seatbelt sign is on. If you would just remain... But he finally had the belt off and was off down the aisle and into the toilet before the hostess could finish her sentence. She knocked once. Sir, can you come out, please? I'll just be a minute. Bloody petrol stinks. She knocked again. Sir, did you say something about petrol? No. Another loud knock. Sir, I need you to come out right now. Okay. Ha-ha! The occupied light flicked off and the door swung open with a flourish. Well, it sort of jammed a little bit, but then with an aggressive shoulder push, it eventually slid 2/3 of the way across and he squeezed his way through it with a flourish. Take me to the captain, he proclaimed. Sir, if you could just take your seat, we're about to land. She began to usher him gently back down the aisle. I said take me to your captain! But Lawrence suddenly found himself back in his seat with the air hostess halfway up the plane again. Regathering himself, he rose once more. Excuse me, I just need to... Sir, sit down! He did. Raising his eyes to heaven, he turned to the man next to him. Sorry about the smell, I'm supposed to be hijacking this plane. Right? You see, I want to make the Pope reveal the third secret of Fatima. The passenger giggled before he could stop himself. That was quite rude what you just did there, did you know that? I'm sorry. Yeah, well you soon will be. Lawrence winked menacingly, got to his feet and strode towards the cockpit. 12 hours later, as he knelt down to tie his shoelace, French paratroopers approached Downey from behind and pinned him to the cabin floor. 19 years later, the Vatican cracked and revealed the secret.